What's going on, everybody? I've rejoined the content creator program after about a year of absence, which grants temporary access to new champions for the purpose of making content. So sit back, relax, let me tell you all about Longshot. First thing you'll notice is Longshot's uniquely flashy way of damaging his opponents. His Special 1 hurls a deadly volley of knives that inflicts 7 instant bleeds. Special 2 has a similarly dazzling effect that I'll explain a bit later. The champion tag Offensive Burst has never been more fitting. But wait, what's this? Upon closer look, Longshot is a member of the X-Men? Then why is he a Mystic champion and not part of the Mutant class? Well, simple. He's not a mutant. Longshot will even tell you that himself in the comics. In his own words, "I'm a genetically engineered orphan from another dimension. I have magic luck powers."
Oh, that's strange, but also kind of interesting. Tell me more.
After spending a little bit of time digging and searching around on this thing called an internet computer, I found out that Arise created Longshot. Arise was employed by Mojo and the Spineless Ones to genetically engineer humanoid slaves. Arise was this smart alien dude from Mojo World who invented exoskeletons, enabling his race to stand. However, unbeknownst to Mojo, Arise was not cool with the whole genetically engineering humanoid slaves thing. So Arise secretly tweaked their genetics, allowing them to rise up against Mojo. Mojo thought Longshot was created for their entertainment, but with Arise's genetic alterations, Longshot ended up being a rebel leader fighting back against this ugly mug. The X-Men and Longshot work together, making Longshot part of the X-Men, and is why he is tagged as such. Longshot even got romantically involved with one of the X-Men, Dazzle, and got her pregnant. And that baby, by the way, that they had together, is Shatterstar, who, this is a little bit hard to believe, but Shatterstar, the baby of Longshot and Dazzle, is actually Longshot's father. Yeah, that's right. Longshot is the father of his own father. It's a little confusing. There's some time travel involved, some artificially induced amnesia, and basically, Arise used the genetics from Shatterstar as a way to create Longshot. It gets kind of crazy. It's unrelated to his abilities, I just thought you guys should know. But anyway, let's talk about the unique powers that Arise genetically engineered Longshot to have. First off, Longshot is incredibly lucky. It goes beyond luck. It's more like a mystical force in the universe is pulling strings for him. You'll notice his left eye glow when luck is kicking in. Sometimes Longshot can manipulate this luck, and other times it's completely out of his control and leads to some comedic situations, which is why Longshot Special 3 looks like this. The ability to manipulate luck is more powerful than it seems. The comics frequently show guns backfiring on themselves when pointed at Longshot. Arise knew these powers could be abused and wanted to prevent that. So if Longshot tries to use his luck selfishly to, pop 10 6-star champions out of 10 Cav crystals, Longshot's luck will backfire and those 6 stars will inexplicably explode. Longshot's intentions must be pure of heart. We can see this in-game along with Longshot's karma system. While luck and karma are typically different things for normal people, since Longshot can manipulate his own luck, those lines are blurred. Longshot can also see the intentions of others as well through psychometry. Psychometry is the ability to discover facts about an event or person just by touching them or objects associated with them. For example, Longshot can pick up a knife and determine if it's been used for something simple like cooking, or used nefariously to inflict harm by its wielder. Physically, Longshot may look like a normal enough dude, other than possibly suffering from handsome disease or maybe too sexy for his shirt disorder, but interestingly, he's 6'2" and only weighs 80 pounds. This is what allows him to be extraordinarily agile, contributing to his acrobatic and bursty damage style. And this is not because he only has 4 fingers, so please do not try removing one of your fingers as a form of weight loss. This is because Longshot has hollow bones. Yeah, that's right. Upon hearing this, you might assume that Longshot is the average glass cannon style champion that can't really take a hit even though he can dish out massive amounts of damage, and I'm happy to say that this is not correct. Longshot, he has above average health, having 32,000 for a maxed out 5-star. His block proficiency is fine, and he even has 15% perfect block as well. The one major ability that he seems to be lacking that he has in the comics that he does not have in-game is his healing factor, which was likely left out for balance reasons. But enough about survivability, let's get to the good stuff. How does Longshot pump out that crazy burst damage? We'll need to master his karma system. There's good karma and bad karma. The good karma is on you, and the bad karma is on the opponent. You basically need to generate good karma on yourself, then use that good karma to put bad karma on the opponent. You build good karma by evading attacks, blocking, getting hit, or by charging your heavy attack. And unlike other champions who have similar ramp-up systems, good karma alone does not increase Longshot's damage. However, once you hit 5 good karma, you gain Pure of Heart. Pure of Heart adds bonuses to Longshot's special abilities, and 90% of Longshot's damage comes from his special abilities, so doing your best to maintain Pure of Heart is very important. Pure of Heart has a timer, but you can refresh the timer by consuming good karma and building back up to 5 again. Consuming good karma is how you apply bad karma to the opponent. There are 3 ways to consume good karma. The first happens automatically when Pure of Heart expires. All good karma is lost and is applied as bad karma to the opponent. But in most cases, you don't really want to lose Pure of Heart. So that leaves 2 main ways to consume good karma. The first is whenever you hit the opponent with a heavy attack. That's right, you hold the heavy to build good karma and release the heavy to consume it, making heavy attacks vital to maximizing Longshot's damage. The second way is by launching a special one. Now that we've transferred bad karma on the opponent, what does that mean? What does bad karma actually do? Bad karma on the opponent allows you to generate extra power based on how much power the enemy is generating, and adds incinerate damage to your special 2. Bad karma is also refreshed if the opponent throws a heavy attack or special. Alright, I know that was a lot to take in, so let's recap. Good karma can only be on you, bad karma can only be on the opponent. Good karma itself does nothing, but is needed to achieve Pure of Heart and is consumed to apply bad karma to the opponent. Bad karma allows you to generate extra power and can be turned into incinerates during Longshot's special 2. You gain good karma when attacked, by evading or charging heavy, and you apply bad karma by hitting the opponent with a heavy or using special 1. Bad karma is refreshed when the opponent uses a heavy or special. Again, heavy attacks are vital since they play a role in both good and bad karma. And that's it. It can be confusing at first, but it isn't too bad once you get the hang of it. Typically, you want to maintain both good and bad karma, but when getting started, just remember this. If you want to use a special 1, only do so when you have Pure of Heart by maxing good karma. Don't worry about bad karma. And if you want to use a special 2, bad karma is more important, and Pure of Heart is just a bonus. Again, in an ideal world, you are maxed on good and bad karma, but if that's not possible, have good karma for special 1, bad karma for special 2. Let's go through the specials so you can understand why. Your special 1 cannot miss or be auto-blocked, and honestly it's pretty weak, but if you have Pure of Heart active, then you gain that flurry of instant bleed damage, and it's pretty nice. Special 2 inflicts Incinerate and Fate Seal. Fate Seal nullifies all buffs and removes bad karma. While the opponent is Fate Sealed, any new buffs or bad karma instantly combust to deal more Incinerate damage. If you have Pure of Heart active, it also adds more Incinerate damage up front. Special 3 stuns the opponent for 3.5 seconds, which, due to Longshot being Mystic, there may be some situations where you can stun-lock the opponent if they have expiring buffs and you have high levels of the Mystic Dispersion Mastery. With Pure of Heart, you just gain a little bit of increased damage on that Special 3. But even with this damage increase, the Special 3 does not hit very hard, and I didn't find it to be particularly useful. The long stun duration does give you an opportunity to charge your heavy attack and get back to 5 good karma, but for the most part, I found myself using a combination of Special 1 and 2. Or should I say, Special 2 and 1. See, normally I build to a Special 2, apply the Incinerate to the opponent, then build to a Special 1. The Special 1 consumes 2 good karma for myself, which gives 2 bad karma to the opponent, and as long as I'm quick enough, those 2 bad karma will instantly combust for extra Incinerate damage. The Special 2 and 1 rotation is relatively easy to pull off in situations where you have an abundance of power, for example using Mystic Dispersion against enemies with lots of buffs, But if you find yourself a bit more limited on power, the best way to maximize Longshot's damage is by sticking to the Special 2 exclusively. Not only do the Incinerates from the Special 2 deal tons of damage, but you also keep Fate Seal up longer on the opponent, preventing their buffs. And in an ideal world, you'll have the opponent up against the wall so you can spam heavy attacks as long as they have less than 1 bar of power. And in a really ideal world, you can do this versus enemies that have lots of buffs, such as the Resistor node. This is Act 6 content with a rank 3 5-star. Pretty nuts, right? A quick word on Mystic Dispersion since I brought it up. It can be alright to use, but Longshot is not at all reliant on it. In fact, sometimes I found it hurt my overall damage. The Special 2 Fate Seal does not stack, and since that's where all the damage comes from, using 2 Special 2s back to back doesn't deal much damage and leaves you spending extra time baiting the opponent's special rather than doing real damage. As I mentioned before, in order to maximize Longshot's damage, you need to find every opportunity to use heavy attacks. Not only does this build good and bad karma before launching specials, but you can also keep applying bad karma to the opponent after using a Special 2, which, while the opponent is Fate Sealed, combusts the bad karma for even more damage. That is the key to Longshot's damage. Combust as many bad karma with your Special 2 as possible. Luckily, Longshot has a long reach heavy attack to open up opportunities to weave in heavy attacks that other champions cannot do in their normal playstyle. Depending on the opponent, you may be able to counter their heavy attack with a heavy of your own, or counter their special attacks with a heavy. However, you won't always be able to use heavy attacks. For example, if you can't parry, it can be difficult to use heavies. In that case, I rely more on a normal 5-hit combo and Special 1 rotation instead. Start the fight normally, finding any opportunity you can to get your attacks in, and for this example, I'm going to play as if I can't use any heavies at all. Before you launch your Special 1, you want to make sure that you have 5 good karma. You can build good karma the same way you would build poise charges with Stark Spidey by evading incoming attacks. You can also build good karma by blocking, but only at a 50% chance. Then, launch your Special 1, dealing bleed damage and applying bad karma. The bad karma allows you to gain additional power, which means you'll get back to a Special 1 a little bit faster. Then just rinse and repeat, spamming Special 1s until the opponent's dead. It's less damage than the Special 2 rotation, but also less risky on your part. Also note that instant bleed is slightly different than normal bleed. Instant bleed has no duration, and therefore is not affected by the deep wounds mastery that would normally extend bleed duration. But it is still bleed damage. If the opponent is bleed immune, you'll need the Mojo synergy to turn that instant bleed damage into degen damage instead. Speaking of synergies, I won't go through them all, but another worth pointing out is with Rogue. You don't need to use it, but if you're looking to maximize damage, try pairing Longshot with Rogue to increase Longshot's Special 2 Incinerate damage. The flip side of this synergy is worth noting as well, since it increases crit chance and ability accuracy for all female champions. Something worth remembering for future female champions too. You really don't need any of Longshot's synergies though, and since I haven't even mentioned his Awaken ability yet, you may be curious if he needs to be awakened. The answer is no. Well, yes. Yes and no, really. See, Longshot does not need to be awakened to do his flurries of damage or demolish a champion that gains buffs, but in some cases you will definitely want this guy awakened. Anytime the opponent gains a buff, you have a chance to automatically nullify it and replace it with bad karma. You don't even need to attack them, it's just automatic, similar to how Doctor Strange works. In addition to that, when nullifying True Strike, Unstoppable, or Unblockable buffs, Longshot gains a matching buff for 7 seconds. The easiest example of this is stealing Unstoppable from Juggernaut. It's pretty cool, right? So for the most part, you don't need this Awaken ability because few champions have powerful enough buffs for this to matter, and you can Fate Seal the opponent with a Special 2 to remove their buffs anyway, but sometimes it can be difficult to get damage in against an unstoppable opponent, for example, and you are going to need something like this to turn the tides of the fight in your favor. So the Awaken ability can be necessary in some situations. Up until now, I've mostly been saying good things about Longshot, but this pretty boy has some clear downsides as well. Number 1, he suffers from what most Mystic champs suffer from. Excellent versus enemies with buffs, not so much against enemies without. Longshot's damage is above average though, so it's not too painful to play against the buffless champions at least. but there's a good chance that you already have a champion in your roster that can handle these champions with buffs just fine enough. Downside number 2 is that he has no immunities. If we had unlimited resources to rank up every champion, great. I can think of a few situations I'd love to play Longshot in, but because we have limited resources, I'd rather rank up champions that have similar strengths but also cover immunities for the times that you will need both. Number 3, somewhat related to immunities, let's talk Suicide Masteries. Longshot has no way of increasing his own attack rating, and his abilities also scale with crit damage rating, which, in short, means that Suicide Masteries scale his damage better than most champions. But he's not suicide friendly. No immunities, weak special 3, and you want to spam specials with the help of extra power gain. The plus side is that he doesn't need suicides in situations where the opponents have lots of buffs. You'll still demolish those opponents. But you may want that extra damage against opponents with little to no buffs, and that may cost you some health. Downside number 4 is that much of Longshot's damage is through bleed or incinerate, which is not always a bad thing, but you will run into situations where this will hurt. This is especially bad with Longshot's special 2 incinerate. The Fate Seal is only active as long as the incinerate is, which extends beyond just incinerate immunity and plays into certain nodes or other abilities interacting with the debuff. If you run into these situations where you can't bleed or incinerate the opponent, Longshot's physical damage is downright puny. Longshot's normal physical attacks are on the level of Maw. I'm not comparing the two overall together, just their 5-hit combos. Since Longshot has below average attack, below average crit chance, below average crit damage, his normal hits are weak. As long as you can use specials, this doesn't matter. And as a Mystic champion, this is almost a benefit of Longshot since you can use Mystic Dispersions to drive special attacks. But there are some nodes that prevent you from using specials, and it's worth keeping in mind that you will struggle in situations where you can't use specials. Also, I haven't tested the class boost with Longshot, you know, the ones people use with Ghost and Corvus to fire back-to-back specials, but I don't think they work the same with the type of damage that Longshot has, since it's a weak physical hit followed by a different type of damage. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure how much this matters anyway. Keep in mind what I said earlier in the video about the Special 2. The Fate Seal component of the Special 2 does not stack from Longshot, and it's that Fate Seal that is the driving force behind that crazy incinerate damage that you see. So, even if you could fire back-to-back Special 2s, it's not going to be the same feeling as doing that with Ghost or Corvus. The final downside is his gameplay style. I mean, it's actually pretty fun. I recommend everyone try your best to get some star level of Longshot, just so you can play it for yourself. But it is a little bit tougher to take advantage of in certain situations, since you want to be spamming your heavy attacks. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that his playstyle is wildly difficult. It's actually not that hard compared to some of the truly difficult champions to play in this game, like Taskmaster, for example. I do think Longshot is much easier than some champions, but anything outside of the norm can lead to longer fights, more mistakes, more resources spent to keep using the champion. Also, if you are using heavy attacks or you're watching other players use heavy attacks, something to keep in mind is if you're watching hit counts, the number of hits it takes to get through a fight, it's going to be skewed because your heavy attacks hit harder than, you know, regular 5-hit combos. So what may look like it's exceptionally better than other champions, it might only be slightly better. And if it's only slightly better and you're taking that additional risk to, you know, play this way, then you may find using other champions entirely to just be easier and what you kind of naturally gravitate towards. Longshot's Special 1 rotation that I mentioned earlier is a bit easier to play, but you do immediately notice a big drop in damage. And if damage is one of the selling points of this champion, then again, you may find yourself not using them much at all. So all in all, Longshot is a pretty cool champion that is deadly in the right situation, extremely powerful sometimes, and just alright in other situations, which is not a bad thing. I think Longshot is balanced quite nicely, and many people will enjoy his unique bursts of damage. So that's it. There's my review of Longshot. This is my first time incorporating the champion's backstory in the video. Believe it or not, I actually had to read comics for the first time. Personally, I found myself a little more connected to the champ because of it, but I want to know what you think. Did you enjoy it? Did it help you understand why Longshot was given the abilities that he has? Should I continue doing this for other champion guides? Let me know. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.